name is Bristle, and you're watching Mr. Amir's cartoon class.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to Amir's Cartooning Classes, episode 3. This is our intermediate classes, which is the in-between between our beginner classes, as you guys saw with Bluey, and our advanced classes, as you guys saw with Jabber, which is characters that are not as complex, but are in between the complexness of an anime character and the simplicity of a cartoon character that would be very simplistic in illustration and in drawing. So, today what we were working on is we're going to be working on Handsome Squidward. I know you guys are all wondering why Handsome Squidward, why the beautiful handsomeness of a squid. But main reason why is because I just really like the way Handsome Squidward looks, and when he falls, hilarious. But today we're going to be doing one of his striking hands on his hips poses that we know him to love to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the head shape. So the head shape, always going to start off with the head shape. The head shape is kind of this semicircle bean shape, right? Where you're going to do right here, right? But you're not going to do much more than just this. So this is where you guys are going to have your start point. This is your start point for your Handsome Squidward, right? And then you're going to put a little hill right here at the edge of your line right here, so you can give him that eyebrow that pops out a bit, because he's handsome. He's such a handsome boy. So from that point on, you're going to go from down here, you're going to go down, and this is going to be his neck. This is actually his neck of his head. And you're going to go all the way down here. Right. Then after you've done that little bit of a hill, shall I say, or valley, you're going to go under and over to give him a little bit of a cheekbone. And as you give him his cheekbone, you want the cheekbone to come in a bit, and it's going to drop down, because Handsome Squidward's chin is like really long, making him handsome for some reason in cartoon language makes him have these very long circular butt chin, kind of like Pete. If you guys ever see Peter Griffin, this is his chin shape, you know. So you're gonna give him a butt chin once you finish that. Once you guys get here, let me know. Perfect. So you're gonna curve his butt chin up this way, and you're gonna just go along that way until you wanna come all the way up, and you're gonna connect his chin right there. You know, you're gonna erase what's in here, a little extra strings that you guys create in here. And then you just got your basis of Handsome Squidward's head shape, where you guys have this indent right here. This is actually going to be the part where you're going to add for a horizon line, because this is where you're going to put those handsome quality eyes when you're creating your Handsome Squidward. So the next portion that you guys are going to do is creating those eyes. So the eyes start right here. Alright, and you're going to just put one up this way and one down this way. And that's your first eye shape. And then you're going to give it a little bit of space, and then you're going to do the same thing over here. One eye here, one parenthesis here, one parenthesis here, boom. Now your Handsome Squidward should have 2 eyes. Okay, right underneath his eye, you're going to add line right here. Give him a little bit of definition in that eye. And a little line right here to show these same type of handsome bags. And then you're going to make his nose. So his nose comes a bit above that line, that horizon line. You're going to point it, come down this way. Alright, you guys following me? So first off, making his nose, you're going to let it come out a bit and then come in. Because even though he's supposed to be handsome, there's still imperfections in the way his face looks, because it's supposed to be the most handsome version of Squidward. So when you come down here and you put a point right here for his nose, which is going to be this nice little Squidward nose, I'm going to add a little half circle here and a half circle here. And you're going to erase this line right here on the inside. And then you're going to have a full Squidward nose, because when doing that, you were able to officially make what we now know as a handsome Squidward nose, which is just a regular nose, but it has that handsome point to it. You know, when I first saw this episode as a kid, it was absolutely atrocious. Because every time I thought they were like, this is handsome Squidward. So you're gonna put a line here, you're gonna put a line here. I always thought to myself, I said, yo, he didn't get any better looking. He just looked more serious. You know, I'm like, there's not really much of. I mean, a lot has changed. Of course, he gets his muscles and everything, and of course, you're gonna make sure you put his lips. So his lips. Very puffy lips. You're gonna put a little bow around his bottom lip. I'm gonna break it up right here. Boom. There goes your handsome Squidward lip. You're gonna make sure that they connect though. And so when they connect, when his lips connect, they're very pointy towards the ends. Okay, then you're going to give a little bit of an indent right here for his lip right there. Next up, you're going to give him his cheekbones. His cheekbones, just a little semicircle right here. And then you're just going to come in and then come down right there. Boom. There's an indent for his cheekbone. Gonna give him some crow's feet. So you're gonna give him some two lines right here and right here. And you're gonna give him those same two lines here and here. So you can show that young Squidward has those crow's feet. You're gonna give him his pupils. You're gonna use your horizon line as his now new eyelids. You're gonna give him some pupils too, because he's handsome. So a handsome man needs handsome pupils. So you're going to make his pupils right there. There's some indents in the top of his forehead. And so what you're going to do is you're going to add a curved line here, a curved line here, and a curved line here. It gives him a little bit of expression to his face. And from his crow's feet, he has a little line that comes right up here and goes up this way. It's kind of like a forehead Z. Okay. Everything should be coming along nicely. You should have this very handsome looking gentleman, and erase a little bit of this line right here. And then his chin can actually a little bit more. So you come here, use this, go up, chin. It's a little bit more realistic for a handsome man like Squidward. Okay. That should be it for his head. So for his neck, what you're going to do is you're going to add a little bit of line here. And then you're going to add some muscle. So you're going to give him a muscle here. And a muscle there. Because though he is handsome, it's also muscular. So you want to give him some lines. So you got to do two lumps, 1, 2 here, to make sure that you're able to give him those shoulders that handsome Squidward you know has. So on the opposite side of his chin, you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to give him one around here, and then you're going to come back up, and you're going to go around right here, giving him that bicep that you're looking for. And what you'll do is you come down, crop it off right here, and then come back up to give him that real muscular-y bicep that you're looking for. Then, as you continue, you'll give him his elbow comes out. Make sure you add this little lump right here at the end, right there. And you gotta make sure you come up and come down so you show that he has some muscle. Can't have no scrawny Squidward out here when you're talking about handsome Squidward. And so the next part that you're going to do is you're going to come down and then draw the other part of his arm right here. Just gonna place that. And then on this half of his arm, what you're going to do is you're going to, of course, cut off that bicep right there. Then you're gonna just come up and show some elbow right here. If you guys run out of space, it's okay. It happens sometimes. So just come out, and then you're just going to come back down this way. And so on the inside, you come up, come down, come out. Then you're going to give him his nice little hands, which is basically a tentacle. So you're just going to come up, show that, and then you're going to curl this over, and you're just going to have that, and that's your tentacle hand of your Squidward. Very simple. So with handsome Squidward and regular Squidward, just be very aware that his hand is super simple on illustration. Okay, and boom. There you guys go. You guys have the first look of a handsome Squidward arm and body. And so you have one arm. Once you guys finish this arm and do that, then what you're going to do is you're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So it's got this nice big old bicep. So you're going to give him a nice little bicep right here. And it's going to turn into his forearm right over here. Of course. So you want to make sure to keep the forearm going. Keep the bicep going too, but you don't want it to look overly unproportionate to the body. So when you're making it, just make sure that you make it very close to what you would think his forearms would be. Right. So like right here, I think I made his elbow come out a little too much. His elbow should just be like it comes out right here. Yeah. His elbow didn't need to come out that much. It's big, but it didn't come out that much. No, not really. So there goes his first forearm, and then the next forearm. Do the same thing. You can curl his arm this way. Of course, give him his little tentacle. But again, like I said, it's a tentacle, so it's only going to be this nice little U shape. Depending on how big you want to make his hands. Okay, so at this moment in time, we have his face and his arms. And now the next part that we're going to continue with is now his body. So his body, from here on out, comes up here. It's one bicep, and then what you're going to do is you're going to just come down here, give it a ripple right there, and then what you'll do once you bring it over here is you're going to just add another line right here, and just straight up, just go straight down the rest of his body until you get to his legs. So this is where his body would end and his legs begin. Of course, because it's of course a fish. I'm a fish! I'm a fish, I'm a fish! Nah. I mean, he's a man, but he's also a fish man. And so on the other side, you're going to do the exact same thing, but instead you're going to just give him his chest. So his chest, you're going to have start from here, and then you're going to just curve it out inward, and then you're going to put another line right here to even it out. And that's it. Boom. You got his body shape somewhat. And what you'll do from here on out is you will add a nice little L line right here. To make it look like it's the separation of his pecs, but you gotta bring it all the way down here, right? And then you're gonna make a little indent here for his little abdominals. Add a little line here. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna add his belt. So his belt comes over here, up, down. You're gonna make sure it's even on either side for his belt. And then you're going to make that buckle go. And you're gonna put a nice little square in the center to resemble his buckle. Okay. And for his belt buckle, you can just have that come up a little bit higher than the actual belt itself. Alright. So you should make the square on the inside come up higher as well. Alright. Boom, 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 and boom. So now you have Squidward's body, shape, all that. Now you gotta make his little V-neck. So from here over to here, he has this V-neck on him. You can give him little squiggly lines for his little chest hairs, his Squidward tentacle chest hairs. We'll go over it with a marker. Okay, so have that, and then all you have to do is just add his little tentacle legs from over here. So you're gonna put 2 lines here to resemble 4 tentacles. I'm gonna do 2 lines here for 1 tentacle. Alright, and then you're gonna do 2 lines, just 1 line here, because they're gonna be fully aligned. And so you're gonna do the same thing on this side, 2 lines, 1, 2, there's tentacles, and 1 line on this side. The leg, the half of the leg. Okay. Looks like he has all 4 of his Squidward tentacles. Add that little line here. And a little bit of that bicep here. And just make sure you come in and out and you show this. Erase this. Okay. And that should be it, guys. That is the formation of a handsome Squidward. Maybe I'd make his eyes just a slight bit bigger. And boom, there you guys have it. There is your handsome Squidward outline. After this, we are going to outline it with a marker, and then we're going to continue by finishing it up and doing the painting. Alright, as you guys can see, we have finished our outline after we completed the time lapse, as you guys saw. Now the only thing left is to paint our handsome Squidward. So we're going to take our light blue. We're going to paint this bad boy all of this light blue, because my boy is handsome. So we're going to give him some handsome, nice light blue skin. Like the handsome Squidward he is. So, as you're doing this, you're going to add a little bit of that darker blue too, to add some, not dark blue, but that lighter dark blue, or that mid blue that we saw in the last episode. You will be able to utilize that, right, as you guys can see. Use some of that darker blue to blend, do some blending of colors with the light blue to make that Squidward look, where he has some shadows and is all the blueness that he needs to have, shall I say. So just keep painting this right here. So just keep filling in with this lighter blue. So, as you're painting in your handsome Squidward, think about the backgrounds you guys are going to do after I complete this lesson. Because, you know, I do love a good background on my artwork. But to teach these classes, the main thing is you only have enough time to really just see how the figure looks. You know, I've got to teach you guys within a timely manner to where you're able to get a full-fledged lesson in under 2 hours, depending on if you guys are an intermediary, beginner, or advanced. So now you're just going to fill in your Squidward, or handsome Squidward, with this light blue, and natural light blue Squidward tone. And just paint the nails inside of his arms. Make sure that you stay within that light blue palette when you're filling him in. You can add a little bit of that mid blue to create shadow. And create shadows for the character, like so. You know, but you want to make sure that your foundation is that light blue, like this. You know what I'm doing this right here. Coming in afterwards with that real light blue. Really, really light blue. And just highlighting. I'm only using the darker blue to highlight what the lighter blue automatically is supposed to do with his skin tone. I would say just go over the chest hairs for right now. And as you guys can clearly see, you can see through those. And they're coming in underneath, and you'll just re-outline those once the paint is dried. Just because those chest hairs going in between each individual chest hair is harder than, you know, than if I just went over it and just went over what was underneath. So, I'm going to add a little bit of that darker blue action on the top of Squidward's head and little shadows right here, here, here. I'm just gonna add little lines with that darker blue, just so you can have it there, so you can. So when you guys fill, you have some shadows in his face. So you're gonna fill it in with some of this light blue here. Light blue here. I'm just gonna fill it in. Light blue. Make sure you leave all your facial lines still in there, because you don't want to cover those up. You cover those up, those are the basis of the structure of the face. So you don't want to mess around and mess with this facial structure. So leave all those lines being shown while you paint it in. Understand? Okay. And as we did, we added those highlights in. I'm just going to blend those in with the lighter blue together as we're painting in the face. Make sure we remember to keep all the lines we created out there, out in the open. Don't want to replace those. Just want to blend them. Understand? Some of that light and blue. I'm just going to blend that in with the light blue. Just to show that we are just filling it in. We're going to go right over those lines again after it dries. Just in case if somebody can't see the outline, they may be like, well, it looks like a sloppy version of it's good, you know, but when you re-outline it after you're done is when the best version comes. After you added all the paint and added all the texture and added all the definition, then you add the black mark at the end. It gives that bolded out look that it didn't have before. It looks shown, it looks seen more than it ever has before. So you can go in his eyelash too. Just continue to add some of that light blue all over the face. So, if you guys are sitting here and you're still watching, how long have you guys been painting? In the comments, I want to know how much you guys have been painting, or how long have you been painting? You've been painting for a couple of years, let me know. You've been painting for a couple months. That's cool, I'm glad you gotten into it. If you're newer, if you're older painter. I've been painting for about 8 or 9 years. And that's not even just counting the art classes I took in school, because I took a lot of art classes in school when I was in high school and middle school. So I don't even count those years, but professionally I've been doing it for about 8 years. Took a little break when I went to college, and then came back to it once I graduated, or once I left college. And then essentially just done it every day since then. So as you can see, you get a little bit of that highlighted definition into your handsome Squidward. You know, when you mix those two colors together, you get all those little defined lines that you wouldn't have gotten if you didn't add some of that darker blue. So now with those two different blue color shades, it shows that, oh, this person's showing some definition into his character, showing some expression, some of those own personal nuances that you would only see if, you know, a human would make it. That's also another good question to ask you guys. What do you guys feel about artistically in AI? You know, for me, the reason why I'm doing this is to show folks, and I don't know if many people know this, but art is for everybody. It's not for just a certain amount of people or certain people who studied art or whatever. Art is for literally everyone. And it is able to be learned by anyone. And a lot of the times, a lot of these a lot of the art world stigma tells you you're not supposed to do this or you're not supposed to do that because it diminishes your work. Whatever stupid gallery gotta say. But a lot of the times when the gallery starts talking about art and how artists should create their work or whatever, it's really just them saying, you need it to be provocative, because if it's not provocative, it's not going to provocateur our people. Especially in New York, all they want is something provocative. They just want you to be provocative. You came to New York to become an artist? Great, do exactly what we say you to do, and we're not going to pay you whatsoever. Which is a lot of the time the truth of what the art world is like in reality. So I'll be right back to add some more colors. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Alright. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to paint in a shirt. The shirt is this little mustardy color. Most of Squid already. And you have to just re-outline once again. I'm just going to paint this in this mustard color. No need to mix here. It's just one singular mustard color. Very Squidwardy. Just make sure that the biceps and the muscles are painted all the way in. Okay, so you're almost done adding all that mustardy color in. Again, remember we are going to go over all of our lines after we have fully done painting our character and it is dried out. Let's finish up all the mustardy color right here and here. Just gonna fill it all in. Once you fill it all in, then you'll be able to just get started on the next portion. So, now you have his iconic mustard brown shirt. Okay, and then you're going to follow it with his golden belt buckle. I'm gonna make this buckle nice and cool. And of course, we're still going to go over it afterwards. Another layer of black. Buckle. This buckle is nice and black. This belt itself. That part, basically, just have to worry about his eyes and his lips. So his eyes and his lips. So the last part of Squidward is his lips. So you're gonna paint in his reddish lips, or his pinkish lips, because he's such a beautiful boy. His pink lips. And then you're gonna give him his red pupils. It's a little bit yellow. It's not. So just gonna add a little bit whitish yellow. And then for his Alright. When I come back, we're going to do a quick outline again, and then we'll be fully done with our handsome Squidward. Alright, so now that we have our Squidward dry, we're going to outline those parts that we said we were going to outline before. Some of them chest hairs back. And all you gotta do is just outline all those lines you put there before. Just define muscles, define everything into the character. As you know, Squidward is now a big guy. Arms, outline his elbow. Let's outline everything. Just so he looks more bolder on the page than when you painted him. Even his legs. Gonna outline one side of each leg. Squidward has 4 legs. guys, I'm just about getting ready to finish up. Put a couple lines here, little crows here and here. Make sure you don't ever forget that cheek jawline. Top of his eyelid up here. Eyelid up here. Then his lips. All right. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is your handsome Squidward. Alright, if you guys enjoyed creating Handsome Squidward today, alright, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I will check you guys out in the next one. If you guys enjoyed painting our good old pal Handsome Squidward, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.